れもやっぱりそのボクシングっていうものが好きだから、なんかそのボクシングっていう、ステに行った時はもうそういうモード入っちゃうんじゃないですかね。やっぱり、ボクシングが好きだから、もうそれが一番ですね。はい。このボクシングが盛り上げる、さらに発展していくための、大事な試合ではあるし、発展していくボクシングをやっぱりこれ以上人気をって考えたら絶対に負けちゃいけない試合だと思うし。
Inside camp, Naoya Inoue is taking things to another level, sharpening every aspect of his game as he trains alongside boxing legend Manny Pacquiao ahead of a high-stakes showdown with Junto Nakatani. The intensity inside the gym is undeniable, with elite speed drills, explosive power work, and championship-level experience all coming together. This isn't just preparation, it's evolution, and with Pacquiao's influence adding a new dimension to Inoue's already dangerous style. The build-up to this clash is becoming even more electrifying.
Look, 6, touch, okay.
Known globally as the Monster, Naoya Inoue has already cemented himself as a true pound-for-pound elite, dominating across multiple weight divisions with a devastating mix of precision, lightning speed, and knockout power. His ability to break down opponents methodically while maintaining explosive finishing ability is exactly what separates him from the rest of the boxing world.
やっぱり今あるこの立場であったり、もちろん家族であったり、そういった、いろんなものが要因となって僕を今支えてると思うんですけど、その中で、今32歳になってなんか見えてくるものっていうのはやっぱり引退、いつかはやっぱり引退っていうものがもう見えてくる時期にはなってるので、じゃあその先に何をするかって考えた時に、やっぱり大橋会長のやっぱ後を継ぎたい。それが一番の恩返しかなって。
Yet despite his dominance, the upcoming showdown with Junto Nakatani presents a unique challenge for Naoya Inoue, one that demands more than just physical readiness. This is the kind of fight where tactical brilliance, timing, and ring IQ could make all the difference against a dangerous, highly skilled opponent.
Now!
Swing that body, swing it. Swing as hard as you can.
Okay.
These guys, after 12 rounds of fighting, they're not tired. How would you describe your energy in this camp right now?
自分自身と向き合っていいトレーニングが積めてますし、ボクシング自体すごく成長できてるなっていう思いが強く。
That's where the influence of Manny Pacquiao truly stands out. The stylistic similarities between him and Naoya Inoue have sparked major discussion, as blending Pacquiao's approach reflects a clear effort to refine Inoue's already elite skill set, enhancing his precision, angles, and versatility without changing his core identity. In a recent interview with Max Kellerman, Pacquiao openly praised Inoue, saying his style reminds him of his younger days. He highlighted Inoue's speed, movement, and aggressive combinations as key similarities, even going as far as to say that Inoue might be the closest thing to a prime Pacquiao in today's boxing world.
Everyone's looking for the next so-and-so, right? The next Manny Pacquiao. And the guy who's come closest to me is Inoue, the monster.
Inoue.
And you just asked me about Inoue. Are you a big fan of Inoue's?
Yeah, I like him. I like the way he fights.
Is he the closest thing to you? I'm not saying he's as great as you, but is he the closest thing to Pacquiao that we have in the game right now?
Oh yeah, I can say that. Closest to me, because when he started, I went to Japan and then...
Manny Pacquiao emphasized in interviews that he has been teaching Naoya Inoue the importance of footwork, explaining that sharp movement, angles, and positioning are essential for creating openings inside the ring. He highlighted how proper footwork helps helps control distance, dictate the pace of the fight, and maximize a fighter's speed and offensive efficiency at the highest level.
What the proper punches and his techniques like that.
Well, he learned it well.
Yes.
Because he's been giving them the proper punching techniques.
Well, I told him that
Those four divisions.
The most important in boxing is footwork. When you have footwork, then you can do a lot of things.
Right. Is that what Freddie gave you when you got to wild card? Did that take your game to the next level, the footwork?
The footwork is the best.
Because before Freddie, you were in and out, and then with Freddie, you started giving him more angles,
side
right?
By side, side by side.
And then
hit moment.
It was bad enough when it was just in and out with Manny. Once he started giving him angles, it was a problem. Manny, you spent 3.5 years away from professional boxing before returning in July.
Shingo Inoue, the father and trainer of Naoya Inoue, has praised his son's continued development, saying, "He has improved significantly and is fully prepared to face any challenge." He emphasized that Inoue's experience, discipline, and steady growth over time have taken him to another level, making him more complete, composed, and dangerous than ever before heading into elite level competition.
いや、もうスイッチは入ってますよ。はい。で、結構本人の切り替えもうまいんですよ。やっぱりこう、抜くとか抜いたりとか、まあ疲れが溜まってるなっていう時はやっぱ自分に言ってきて、今日ちょっと抜いていいとか、やっぱ自分ですごいコントロールしてバランス取ってます。はい。ただ練習モードに入るともうガチッと入るんで、もうそこはもうしっかりもうスイッチは入ってます。もうそうですね。はい。もうこの27日は27。でもそれをしっかりやることによって必ずつながると思うんですよ。ただ気持ちはもうこの27日、この目の前の試合だけですね。
最高の試合を見せてやろうと。
Of his clash with Junto Nakatani, Naoya Inoue showcased sharp pad work, displaying explosive hand speed, crisp combinations, and pinpoint accuracy. The session sent a clear message that he is in peak condition, fully focused, and physically sharp as he prepares for a high-stakes showdown that demands both precision and intensity at the elite level. Mas T-sides.
1分経過。浅い。
Junto Nakatani enters the fight undefeated. As well, a three-weight world champion who has recently moved up to super bantamweight and now stands on the brink of undisputed glory. Where Naoya Inoue thrives on explosive bursts, sharp combinations, and calculated aggression, Nakatani brings a different challenge entirely. He is known for his composure, rangy offense, and elite ability to control distance, making this clash a fascinating stylistic battle at the highest level of boxing. Junto Nakatani has been pushing through a highly intense training phase, focusing on elite-level sparring with sharp world-class partners to simulate real fight night pressure. His camp has placed strong emphasis on timing, durability, and tactical adjustments, ensuring he sharpens every aspect of his game against a variety of styles ahead of the massive showdown with Naoya Inoue. Rudy Hernandez has praised Junto Nakatani in interviews, describing him as the best boxing student he has ever worked with. He highlighted Nakatani's discipline, focus, and rapid learning ability, adding that his commitment to training separates him from others and makes him a truly special talent in the sport, especially as he prepares for elite-level opposition, like Naoya Inoue.
Junto's one of the best boxing students that I've ever met. You know, from the day one, he came to the gym with an open mind, and he's never questioned anything that we've ever done. He executes.
左手。ジュントの他の選手と違うところは引き出しの多さなんじゃないかなっていう。ジュント的にはあまり対戦相手に対しての対策っていうものを少しはありますけど、本人の能力を高めていくっていうトレーニングに重きを置いているっていうのは感じてます。
Junto Nakatani's offensive approach is often described as a bow and arrow system, where he first establishes control of distance using his lead hand like a measuring tool. Once he locks in range and timing, he fires sharp straight punches or sudden angled counter shots, releasing them at the perfect moment after drawing opponents into his rhythm. His style is built on precision, patience, and timing rather than high volume output. He also mixes in effective body attacks, especially when opponents shell up high, creating openings downstairs. Combined with subtle head movement, defensive awareness, and varied punching angles, Nakatani builds unpredictable sequences that make him extremely difficult to read, counter, or pressure consistently.
You remember that knockout that Nakatani did against Maloney? Yeah, man, something like that can happen. You know, I noticed that even though like Nakatani, he has a type of style where, you know, he's like, I don't know, it's like you're born like a bow and arrow. You know what I mean? Like you give a person a bow and arrow, and he pull that thing back and released, and then, you know, then take off and run and try to hide behind something, you know, and pull that bow and arrow back and release. That's the style that, like, for me, Nakatani has. You know, he has that fencing type of style up front where he uses that lead hand to control distance and range, and to you know, win that lead hand battle, to be able to set up that bow and arrow backhand that he got, where he can throw it straight, he can throw it underneath.
Tim Bradley has pointed out a recurring defensive concern in the game of Naoya Inoue. He explains that when Inoue moves into range, he sometimes crosses his feet during entry instead of maintaining a clean step-by-step approach. This small technical habit can briefly affect his balance and positioning, occasionally bringing his head closer to opponents than intended. Bradley notes that this has led to similar moments in past fights, including instances against Luis Neri where angled counters found success. The concern is that a highly technical opponent like Junto Nakatani could study and potentially exploit this pattern. Nakatani's style is built around timing, distance control, and creating angles for counter shots from slightly offline positions. If Inoue enters recklessly or repeats that footwork mistake, Nakatani could capitalize with sharp counter hooks or long backhand shots. These punches become especially dangerous when an opponent is mid-step or shifting weight, a moment when defensive stability is naturally reduced and reactions are slower.
And Nakatani was a guy that's gonna beat anyway, and he has a damn good chance of beating him, man. It's gonna be it's got to be, you're going to have to catch Inoue offline. He has that offline shot that Inoue gets hit with quite often. Carnitas was able to hit him with an offline shot. Neri was able to hit him and hurt him with an offline shot, man. And Nakatani, he has those offline shots, especially with that backhand. And he can walk him into it. And, Inoue still has a bad habit of crossing his feet. He'll cross that lead foot. That's what happened when he fought against Carnitas. He crossed the front foot first. He stepped with the front foot to close the distance instead of the back foot to go right. And he brought his head closer to his opponent. That's the reason why Carnitas was able to, go left and then swing back right with the left hook and catches it as he's trying to reposition.
Carl Froch has lauded Naoya Inoue as one of modern boxing's most flawless competitors. Froch emphasized Inoue's historic achievement of winning world titles across 4 divisions and becoming undisputed champion in 2 separate weight classes, a rare accomplishment in the sport. According to Froch, Inoue's technical mastery, precision, and explosive knockout power make him appear almost invincible when operating at his peak. By dominating multiple levels of boxing with such clinical efficiency, Inoue has firmly established himself as a generational talent. Froch's praise reflects a growing consensus in the boxing world that Inoue is not just a champion, but a complete tactical force whose legacy continues to expand with every dominant performance inside the ring.
The monster is a 4-weight world champion. He's actually a 2-weight undisputed world champion. And is he unbeatable? Well, he looks unbeatable. And the fight ended at the start of round 7. Listen, Inoue is sharp, he's compact, he's got a nice tight defence, he blocks shots with his gloves, but he also got quick reflex slips, he slips back, he's on his toes, he's on his toes a lot when he's in range, but he walks in kind of flat-footed, he puts pressure on with his feet, walks in with that tight defence, and he looks solid, but I think with his speed and his counter-punch, his accuracy, and the fact that he's punching hard body and head, and looking to counter most shots that come at him, he's just such a good fighter. I mean, he doesn't really put a wrong. He gets clipped with the odd shot. I've seen him on the floor once before. He climbed up to win in emphatic.
At the most recent sparring media session, observers noted that Junto Nakatani has visibly developed his lower body, suggesting a strong focus on leg strength and stability training. This physical upgrade indicates he may be preparing to sit down more on his punches and pursue fight-ending power shots, rather than relying purely on outboxing opponents from range. Despite the added muscle and weight, his speed still stood out. Veteran journalist Lance Pugmire reportedly described being blown away by Nakatani's quickness during live camp action, an important observation given his long experience around elite-level fighters. This rare combination of increased power and retained speed is being seen as a dangerous evolution in Nakatani's style, making him an even more complete and unpredictable threat heading into elite competition, including a potential clash with Naoya Inoue.
On Nakatani, and there was a couple of reporters were at his most recent sparring session or his last sparring media session, and they noticed that his legs are much bigger. Like he's put a lot of time and effort into lower half strength, which means that he's going to want to sit down on his shots. He's going to want to end this, which I found pretty interesting as well. I mean, all fighters want to end fights, but it's just one thing that the Japanese media took from the media workouts.
That's interesting. Lance Pugmire from Boxing Scene, he went to watch Nakatani train with Rudy Hernandez, and he was amazed at his speed. He was really blown away. And Lance has been in the sport for a long time. He's been to a lot of camps. He's seen a lot of guys live. But like for him to say that a fighter's speed stuck out is meaningful to me. And so he's still got the speed, even though he's putting on weight in the lower half. It's a good sign. That's a good sign for your team, Nakatani.
Yeah, because I once again, you're only as good as your last performance.